So this is my starter group. So I've got marigolds, I've got fuchsia, I've got azalea, and I've got petunia. But on the petunia, at the side it said pot bedding. So I don't know if that means it's got to go or stay in a pot. And I've got a couple of what do you call it, bulbs for planting and growing. Belladonna, which I think is highly poisonous, am I right? Amaryllis, and Lilium, Pink Perfection. So I'm expecting some advice on this, please. I have a lot of lovely little tiny wildflowers. These blue ones, you remember they're called Speedwell, and they're coming up everywhere. I don't know if, I can't remember, there, over there as well. I can't remember whether they were there before in those numbers or whether they prospered. Look, more of them. They're lovely little ones, aren't they? Look at that. And all over this part of the garden, look at this, a huge bed of them. My goodness. They don't seem to need moisture because it hasn't rained for 3 months. I mean, it's very, very dry. More of them. And what I discovered was, so these are in the beds, but also on the paving stones, look at this. Look at these. These are very similar, and they're called Kenilworth ivy. Yeah, look at them all along here, underneath as well. So I've got my Kenilworth ivy, I've got my hyacinth or bluebells, I've got my roses. The roses haven't come out yet, but I bought some rose feed at the gardening centre, and I shall be putting that on tomorrow morning if I've got time. Look at that, very nice, isn't it? Now you can see the colour because it's darker. So the bird that was sitting on the seeds, that little bell, if you can see it. Can you see the bell? So he's gone off now. In fact, they've all gone off. I think I've frightened them. But I was surprised. I thought it would take a couple of days until they got used to that bell and then sat on it and started eating. But they seemed to have recognised immediately what it was. Seeds stuck together. By the way, that little hillock there with the butterfly plant in the middle of it, that's where I'm going to start off putting flowers, I think. This is Moor Copse, one of the BBOWT sites with extensive woodland by English standards, with lots of bird life and spring plants, weeds and wildflowers. This is the entrance. It's right next to the main road, so there's a bit of traffic noise, but inside it should be much more tranquil. So this is the River Pang. We're going to be walking alongside it, and the birds are getting very excited about our visit, as you can hear. The River Pang, and we're on the lookout for a woodpecker. Sorry, a kingfisher. There are woodpeckers as well, but obviously the river is where the kingfisher hangs out. I'm not sure whether it's this time of the year. Maybe it's a bit too early. It has been very, very cold for the time of year. Still disappointingly low temperatures. So maybe he hasn't come in yet. And plenty of bird life in the trees. Looks like an abandoned bridge. There's lots of felling being done, because the area is suffering from ash dieback. Ash is an English tree, and they're trying to solve the disease problem. It's very atmospheric, this little slightly flowing river, the Pang, and it's very well known in England because it is the inspiration for a famous book called, a children's book called Wind of the Willows. Which I never read as a child, but lots of children do. It's still very popular after 100 years, 150. Very atmospheric. Lots of bluebells, and as Roy would say, the English variety to distinguish it from the Spanish variety. And we've had buttercups, and we've had sandwort, but so far no orchids. So this is quite a display of hyacinth stroke bluebell, English bluebell. Quite impressive, isn't it? With some sandwort. Very impressive. Lovely colour. The River Pang. So Roy and I come out to have a walk in one of the BBOWT sites, as we often do. Unfortunately the car park's right next to the road, so there's high-speed traffic that you can hear in the background, but you can possibly also hear the birds. Blackbird I think over there, lovely, and some blossom on that tree. And I shall go down to the information board when Roy comes. We agreed to meet at 1:45. It's 2 o'clock. Needless to say, he's not here yet. Lots of bird life. And this down here is the River Pang, which in any other country wouldn't even qualify as a river. And there's a quite large town up the road called the Pangbourne. Bourne meaning the bank of the Pang. I think it would be a bit more active if it was a warmer day, but rain is forecast, so we're taking the opportunity of getting out while we can. It is a lovely woodland, lots of variety, open areas and dense woodland, and the river of course. How about this for a bed of bluebells, huh? Very impressive, isn't it? I assume it smells, but unfortunately I can't smell it. So not raining yet, but still dull clouds and threatening. I think the probability percentage goes up to 40 odd at 7 o'clock. It's over 20 at 5 o'clock. So maybe I'll be lucky. Who knows? It looks like there's rain over there. Still a lovely view, isn't it? So haven't done any walking for ages. I mean, I know I've been doing work in the garden, which is good for you, keeps you fit and keeps your muscles toned, but they're different muscles to walking. And I mean, if I do the coast to coast, I've got to be able to stand on my legs for 10 hours a day, so I need to regularly do substantial walks. So I'm walking up to the pub, which is where I'm going to meet Roy. He wouldn't walk with me because, because of all the stuff we did yesterday. Yeah, he did actually work a lot harder than me. He was doing all that sawing, so I think he's knackered. So, yes, not a terribly nice day. It's raining off and on, and I'm in a hurry to get to the pub because I think it's going to rain again at 5 o'clock. Yes, anyway, so can't go in the pub, you have to sit outside. So look at the lovely blossom. Got to the pub, joined my mate. He's already ordered the beers. The beer was virtually arrived at the same time as I did. Slow blossom over there. Slows or Hawthorn is just about finished, but must have been in its prime. It must have been lovely. But look at this. I'll show you a close-up in a minute. Yeah, but it looks a bit artificial, doesn't it? It's not nature. Nah. So look at this. Oh, you can't see from this side, can you? Too dark. Beautiful, isn't it?